The Srimad Bhagavatam. This is Canto 3, Part 1, Chapter 14, and we are doing this chapter called Pregnancy of Diti in the Evening. Now, we had so far covered up to a point where Diti is telling her husband, Kashyapa Muni, that she needs to have children, and for that, certain action is required from his side, and there was a lot of uh, stuff which went on over there because it is believed that the timing was not perfect and so on. And that is going to be pointed out by the Rishi Muni himself. So today's day we are going to understand two things. First is marriage. What is marriage? Which is from the scriptural point of view. And the second one which we are going to understand is why timing is important. Why is this activities in the material world have to be performed at the perfect moment in time, not whenever you feel like. So these are two questions we are going to take up. First one we will take up, which is called the act of a marriage, and what about relationship with a wife. So we are doing Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Part 1, Chapter 14, and this verse we are starting with is verse 17. O afflicted one, I shall forthwith gratify whatever desire is dear to you, for who else but you in the source of the three perfections of liberation. Now, when we are discussing about human relationships, the primary relationship that comes up always is between husband and wife. Husband on one side and wife on the other. Sorry. Even if you remember, even the Bible talks about Adam and Eve. Here we are talking about Manu and Shatrupa. And they were the first couple that came into the picture. The children came later. So the relationship between husband and wife is a very, very important relationship that has been ordained by God himself. Now, when you perform the act of a marriage, that means when you commit towards marriage, which is a very, very auspicious act of mankind, this act by itself is very important for the creation of the next generation. The importance of this action is considered when even if you are becoming a sannyasi. Let us say you are taking up sannyasa. Without the express permission of your spouse, you cannot enter this domain. You are not entitled for it. So you need to have permission from your spouse. So if you are a man, you need permission from your wife. If you are a woman, you need permission from your husband. If you do not have these permissions, you cannot enter the field of sannyasa. I am not talking about spirituality. I am talking about sannyasa. Sannyasa means renunciation. You are giving up things. That is, in our world, this is a very important action. Now, second thing is any act that is performed for the betterment of the family, for the betterment of this unit, single unit, it is always to be done in collaboration with the spouse. You cannot take independent action. Think like this. If you are in a household where the husband and wife is there, whatever action that you do, it could be physical, mental, financial, or whatever. Even if it is a matter of buying properties, buying gold, or whatever, there has to be a collaborative effort. And only when you have a collaboration in marriage, then only there is a pathway for liberation opening up. See, we have heard about spirituality, and where we understand that the pathway towards liberation, self-realization and all that comes into the picture. During the ancient times, you will find that people like Gautam Buddha had left his family without informing. As per the Hindu norms, the Vedic Shastra, he should not have done that, because he donned the robes of a monk. That was wrong. But then after enlightenment, nothing is wrong. That's another story. He became enlightened and everything got wiped clean from his life. But that is a different story altogether, but you can't do that. Even you will find that Shankaracharya, the Adi Shankaracharya we are talking about, he had to take permission from his mother. Now, he was not a married person, but he had to take permission from his mother. His mother had to give him express permission. And what was the permission that was given to him? That whenever I am going to pass away, you have to be around me. The mother had told him that. So he was in the Himalayas when he got the understanding that his mother was going to pass away. Shankaracharya had to travel back to Kalladi village in Kerala and meet his mother. And then she passed away. And then he again restarted his journey. This was very important. So only when you are following this path of, a happy married life, can you progress ahead on the path of liberation. It has nothing to do with spiritual. Please let me put it this way. It is an action which has been sanctioned by God for those people who are on the path of marriage and all that. If you remember, there are the 4 basic principles which we live by, which is dharma, artha, kama and moksha. Moksha is the last one, which is called liberation. So I hope you got it clear. As one can cross the ocean with sea-going vessel, one can cross the dangerous situation of a material ocean by living with a wife. Now this is also very important. Many a times I have been told that, why do you oppose marriage? I don't oppose marriage. Whenever somebody has come to me, I have told them, yes, get married and settle down. Don't bother your head about getting married, not getting married or something. You should get married. Because it is opening up another doorway. That is the pathway which is the 3 ways, dharma, artha, kama. The moksha is the last one. Because you are getting married and you are following a principle. But here I have to qualify this sentence by saying that it has to be a conducive marriage. There has to be equality amongst man as well as a woman. It cannot be uneven. It cannot be that the man is ruling the roost and the woman is just a servant in the house. It is never to be like that. It has to be always in consultation. And that is why it is said, one can cross the dangerous situation of material ocean by living with a wife. You can live with a wife and you have to cross over to the other side. O respectful one, a wife is so helpful that she is called the better half of a man's body because of her sharing in all auspicious activities. A man can move without anxiety, entrusting all responsibility to his wife. It's as the same with the husband. Okay? So it is not just the wife, it is both. The husband can give the responsibility of running the household, having children, taking care of the daily activities like cooking, taking care of the house, the children, the schools, and so on and so forth. All that can be handled by the wife if the wife is a housewife. The man can then go out and earn his living. But he is very confident that his wife will be the best person to handle that case. That means the way he is adept in his job and he can perform the actions that are necessary so that he can earn a living for the family. His wife, on the other hand, is a support function. She is equally important, where she manages the household properly. You will find that whatever that is needed by the family, whether it is groceries, whether it is food, whether it is clothes, any kind of other functions that happen in the household, prayers and so on, that is handled by the wife. So it is said that the man's body and the woman's body are equal partners and they need to be contributing to each other. So a man can move without anxiety, entrusting all these responsibilities on the wife. In a similar fashion, the wife can entrust responsibilities on the husband. It's two-way street. As a fort commander very easily conquers invading plunderers by taking shelter of a wife, one can conquer the senses which are unconquerable in the other social orders. Now, in this, there is a mention where the senses are brought under control. What does it mean? You will find that the husband or the wife, they have a pure control over their senses because of marriage. You will find that the man who was otherwise looking for women has to now shield his eyes and only have eyes for his wife. He cannot be looking around. And this is a control which comes about. But if he is in the process of looking around, then naturally there is a barrier called marriage. He has to be very careful what he is doing. He is not entitled or allowed to do that. Second thing, he has to control his tongue. Earlier, he would have done whatever that came to his mind and said whatever he felt like. But the moment he has a wife, he cannot say those words or he cannot take any sides. Please understand one thing very, very important in marriage. If you are a married human being, your wife or your spouse is a unit family. They are always at number one. Not your mother, not your brother, your sister, your father or whoever. They become an independent family, you become an independent family. Every family is a unit by itself. So your family is your spouse. I hope you get this clear. Your first responsibility is towards your spouse. And that is the reason why it is mentioned that the man can take shelter in his wife and the woman can take shelter in this man. And they cannot stray. They should not stray. They should not go out and look for some wrong things. Activities like drinking, smoking and all these are curtailed. Earlier there would have been a lot of things which the woman might have done. But once she is married, you will find that most of the activities come to a zero level. Maybe she was a dancer, maybe she was a singer, maybe she used to do parties or do whatever that felt like. But once you are in marriage, you cannot go out, you cannot do those kind of things without your spouse. In a similar fashion, this man who would have had a host of friends would go out drinking, smoking, and doing all kinds of things. After marriage is not entitled for all those things because marriage is a sacred union. He is not allowed to do those things where the wife by itself is like a speed breaker. She is not going to allow you. There are going to be no permissions like that. So this is a very natural thing for both the husband and the wife to become collaborators. And that is how the social order works. So now here you will find what Kashyapa Muni is going to talk. O queen of the home, you are not able to act like you, nor could we repay you for what you have done. Even if we worked for our entire life or even after death, to repay you is not possible even for those who are admirers of personal qualities. The act of bringing children in this world, or the act of being a wife and performing actions therein as a wife. These are important things which no other person can emulate, can replace. The wife is the carrier of your progeny, which is the future generation, and so whatever action she does, it cannot be repaid in cash, kind, or any other way. It's an act which is really selfless. I am talking of decent households. I'm not talking of wrong kind of people. So the husband-wife relationship we are discussing, we are not discussing single relationships or all those other things that are now there in the world. We are discussing only about a man and a woman. So Kashyapa Muni is telling her that you are doing a yeoman's act, you're really doing something really fantastic for the household, and hats off to you because you are putting in so much of efforts. And there is no way that I can repay you as a wife whatever you have done so far. Also, you are very faithful to me. Even though it is not possible to repay you, I shall satisfy your sexual desire immediately for the sake of begetting children. But you must wait for a few seconds so that others may not approach me. Now, this is something which you have to know. When this whole thing started, you will recollect that the Rishi, that is Kashyapa Muni, was sitting for doing an action which is called the Sandhya Vandana, basically an act of performing spiritual prayers in the evening. And his wife, in the throes of emotion, comes and talks to him about performance of acts. And he was telling her that you need to hold on because I am doing something just now. And this is not the right moment, though you are entitled for it. I cannot repay you for all the other things that you have done. So this is a kind of an action I have to do. You know, in today's day and age, there is a very big problem in the world. Now I am making a small diversion over here. The entire world population is coming down drastically. You will find that countries in Europe, China, Japan, India, United States, and other places in the world, people are not having children anymore. The birth rate has dropped dramatically in the world today. The reasons are many. One is the financial independence that has come in. When the financial independence comes in, the person feels that they are entitled, forgetting that they are in a marriage. The entitlement that I am earning, I can do what I feel like. So the major problem is the ego problem. This is one major thing which has happened in this world. Second thing that has happened is the apathy for performance of any sexual acts. I don't like it. I hate it. These are the things that have been sanctioned by the scriptures and by God Almighty Himself. Having that kind of an apathetic attitude is wrong. In India, we are the proponents of a very great scripture, which is, I will definitely call it a scripture because Vatsayana has written it. And these actions are very much godly actions, because if you go to any temple in India, without exception, any temple in India, you will find these acts are depicted on the walls. There is a sanction. It is not that there is something which is called it's my mood, or I don't feel like it. This is a modern concept which is not sanctioned by the scriptures. It is a commitment, and it is something that needs to be performed when it is the right time. We are going to come to the right time. Please understand this. The scripture which I was talking about is called a Kama Sutra. It is not about wrongful action, but it is about the right way to go about it. Yes, the Western world has completely distorted this image and made it into a very lascivious, a kind of a horrible kind of a shade has been given to Tantra as well as this. I don't think it is a right way. It's an act performed by God also. So when it is done, what is the issue? I don't understand. So the drop in population is because of all these things. It is upsetting the balance of the world. On one side, there are certain people who want to produce children after children. And on the other side, there are some who don't even want to have physical relationships in their marriage. Both these are extremes and they should be dropped. All right? So I just wanted to make this clear to you. Even countries like China, who were having such a huge population, finally came up with a one-child policy. Later on, they came with a two-child policy. And in the last week, they have gone and they have put very heavy taxation on birth control pills as well as condoms. Why? Because they don't want you to use them. The Chinese people don't want their population to use them. They would rather have children and they would rather have a healthy population, because everybody is becoming older. There is no younger generation there today. So be happy and be very good at all these actions. So please understand why he is talking like this. But the caveat over here is timing. So we'll come to this timing. Verse 23. This particular time is most inauspicious because at this time the horrible looking ghosts and constant companions of the Lord of the ghosts are visible. Lord Shiva, the king of the ghosts, sitting in the back of his bull carrier, travels at this time accompanied by ghosts who follow him for their welfare. There are auspicious timings and then there are inauspicious timings. Please remember this, it is mentioned in our scriptures. The auspicious timings. There are certain timings which I am not going to reveal them over here, but for understanding I will give you just a few hints. During the menstrual period of the woman, a person is not supposed to have any bodily relationships with her. And there are certain days in the month where it is not allowed. Certain time during the day it is not allowed. So there are certain restrictions which you should follow, because you will have to understand this. There is a queue for birth. The bodies that are available at a particular time of that period in time, they may belong to a wrong kind of a person. So the timing is important. And this timing, the Rishi Muni Kashyapa is telling his wife, this is not the right time. I will definitely satisfy you, but after some time. We have to work out on this timing. So now I am asking you a question. If this is mentioned in the scriptures, can a person say, I don't feel like doing it? I am not in a mood to do, when the timing is perfect? Do you know, those who go for artificial insemination or, babies which are test tube babies and so on, today the IVF world is doing really very well. Please find out from the doctor over there how timing is so critical. Please talk to the doctors, talk to people from these IVF centers and find out for yourself why timing is important. If you do not perform that particular action of even providing the child or certain hormones or certain things or certain food or whatever that is required at the right time, the child may not survive. The embryo can be dead. It is very important. The date and the time has to match. The food habits are very important. There are certain foods which you are entitled for eating, and there are certain foods not entitled for eating. You cannot eat those foods. You cannot have that kind of a diet. You may think this is such a casual approach towards life. Oh, I just want to have children. I am anyway eating this doesn't matter. If you want to have a healthy baby, and if you want your next generation to be really very smart and all that, you need to plan well in advance what kind of food you are eating, how you are doing things, what you are doing all along. And you need to be both healthy, isn't it? And the timing is critical. In life, please understand, for everything there is a time factor. If you do not perform actions in that specified time, it can cause a lot of misery. And the type of children that could be born could be very detrimental to you. And this is known by the Rishi Muni Kashyapa. And he tells his wife, this is not the right thing to do. Because at this given moment in time, the ghosts, the goblins and all these creatures are roaming around with Shiva on his bull. Shiva is the king of all these creatures, all the dead creatures. They are also searching for bodies. You know that? They also want to take up a body. Why? You must have heard about hauntings. Why do these ghosts hang up on the trees and this place and that place? They do not get a body. They cannot get released. That is why they want to haunt. That is why they need a body. They can even use your body if they need to. So here Kashyapa Muni is saying this is a time when the ghosts and the goblins and all these creatures are looking for bodies. So we should not have bodily relationships. Next verse 25, Lord Shiva's body is reddish and he is unstained, but he is covered with ashes. His hair is dusty from the whirlwind dust of the burning crematoriums. He is the young brother of your husband and he sees with his 3 eyes. Lord Shiva does not regard anyone as his relative, yet there is no one who is not connected with him. He does not regard anyone as a very favorable or abominable. We respectfully worship the remnants of his food and we vow to accept what is rejected by him. Here there is a small description about Shiva. Shiva is the younger brother. I'm sure you remember Brahmaji was the firstborn, right? And Brahmaji created Rudra. I'm sure you remember it because in the last chapter we did that. And Shiva has gone to the Himalayas and he has all the ganas with him. Now he has this habit of doing meditation. And because he is with the ganas, he is normally found in the crematoriums and in the graveyards. He stays there. He does a different type of a tapasya. And he is the Lord God of literally everyone in this world, no doubt about it. And he is a revered master. But he is also the younger brother of Kashyapa Muni. Alright? In this order, correct? So here, Shiva is doing these rounds. He is smeared with the ashes from the burial grounds, from the crematoriums. He doesn't have any attachment to anybody. Shiva does not attach himself to anybody. But he is a very benevolent being. And because of his benevolence, he considers this whole world as his own relatives. And he says, he is the one who roams around in this world at this hour. Although no one in the material world is equal or greater than Lord Shiva, and although his unimpeccable character is followed by the great souls to dismantle the mass of nescience, he nevertheless remains as if a devil to give salvation to the devotees of the Lord. Through Shiva, one can also reach liberation, no doubt about it. Shiva is a repository of all the spiritual knowledge that is there in this world. He has a very perfect character. Shivji has a very perfect character. And nobody is equal or greater than him. He is a perfect master of everything. And he is able to destroy this world at command. You know, he can just open his third eye and destroy this entire world. So much of power he has. But he is a very kind soul. And he always is very, he has justice on his side. So, unfortunate, foolish person, not knowing that he is engaged in his own self, laughs at him. Such foolish persons engage in maintaining the body which is eatable by dogs with dresses, ornaments, garlands and ointments. Shiva understands this world is mithya, it is non-existent. And he has a very clear understanding of this whole creation process as well. Human beings are so much attached to their body. Think about it. On one hand, Shiva roams around in the burial grounds and the graveyards and the crematoriums. And he knows that this life is worthless. Human beings, on the other hand, value their life so much, their body so much, that they are bothered about the dresses they wear, the ornaments they wear, the garlands that they wear, or the ointments that they put on their body. They are so much bothered about it. So, He is not bothered about maintaining himself, Shiva. Whereas human beings are on the other side, they like to maintain their body perfectly and so on and so forth. They'll go to the gym, they'll perform all kinds of actions, they will try to eat, nutritious food and all that. That is nothing called nutrition in that, by the way. Demigods like Brahma also follow the religious rites observed by him. He is the controller of the material energy which causes the creation of the material world. He is great and therefore devilish characters are simply imitations. So you will find that he is greater than Brahmaji also. He is a master of the senses. He is a controller of the material energy. His wife is Shakti herself, incarnate. That is Parvati. He is the one who can cause the creation of the material world also and the destruction as well. So that is the kind of greatness that he has. Maitreya said, Diti was thus informed by her husband, but she was pressed by Cupid for sexual satisfaction. She caught hold of the clothing of the great Brahmana sage just like a shameless public prostitute. Now, he is telling his wife that this is not the right time. Yes, we will perform the action later on. I am doing some job just now. I am doing prayers, the evening prayers and all that. So kindly do not force me at this given moment in time. I will tell you when the time is right. And even after saying so, his wife doesn't listen to him. She is bitten by the bug of Cupid. The arrow has pierced so deep that she literally tries to remove the clothes of the Rishi Muni, which is not a done thing because it is an action which is going to cause misery in the future as well. The creation of two dangerous, very, very dangerous demons are going to be born. So Maitreya Muni is telling Vidura, Diti was adamant about the whole thing. She was insisting that I want it right away. You cannot deny me anything. Like I said, yes, the wife is important, but not everything can be granted at that moment in time. The timing is specific and important. Her husband says so, but she literally pulls all his clothes apart. Understanding his wife's purpose, he was obliged to perform the forbidden act, and thus after offering his obeisance unto the worshipable fate, he lay with her in a secluded place. The Rishi Muni is bound by his actions. That means his duties. When the wife demands this kind of a thing, he cannot say no. In today's day and age, people insist, I don't want to do anything, I don't want to do anything. But marriage by itself, even if the action is wrong over here, the husband agrees. So Kashyapa Muni is drawn by that action and he is obliged to perform the action which is a forbidden act. This forbidden act is something which is also in Ramayana. I'm sure you remember this forbidden act. The action of catching hold of people when they are passing by Valmiki. He says it's important for the family, so I have to kill people. Now, this is something which he was doing. It's actually a forbidden act. Here, Kashyapa Muni also performs this forbidden act. Before that, he says his prayers because it is the wrong timing. Thereafter, the Brahmana took the bath in the water and controlled his speech by practicing penance trance, meditating on the external effulgence and chanting the holy Gayatri hymns within his mouth. Now he has performed the wrong action. The first thing that he does is he goes to purify his body, so he takes bath. You know, in this material world, this is something which I have seen. Human beings do not understand the potency of the power that is there within the sperms and the eggs and all those things. They lie in the bed dirty as ever. Hygiene, forget about hygiene. It's an action which requires cleansing. So physical cleansing of the body is very, very important. The Rishi Muni understands this and cleans himself up. So these actions of cleansing is important. So kindly, if for that purpose of performing an action when you do, please do not just be lying in the bed and doing nothing, okay? Clean yourself up. It is very important. Now, if the action is wrong, then he is doing something which is called going and meditating, practicing the Gayatri mantra recitation. These are a few things which are going to wipe out from his life whatever bad actions that he has done. O son of Bharata family, Diti, after this went nearer to her husband, her face lowered because of the faulty action. She spoke as follows. The beautiful Diti said, my dear Brahmana, kindly see that my embryo is not killed by Lord Shiva, the Lord of all living entities, because of the great offense I have committed against him. So here, Diti understands that the action which she has done was wrong. And because of the wrong action that she has performed, it is going to lead her on the wrong path. Now, it could have destroyed her embryo because Lord Shiva would not allow such a thing to happen. But remember, her husband is the elder brother of Shiva. He has the power to save the womb also. But the action of performing something at the wrong time, at the wrong place, because it was performed in front of others as well. There is a line in which it is mentioned that these actions should not be done the way they are supposed to be done. Right? So these are restricted actions, and because she has performed this restricted action, she is feeling very guilty about it. And because she is guilty, she tells her husband, kindly tell Shiva not to destroy the wombs, the embryo that is there. And I am sorry that I did this action. But does sorry change anything? Control is extremely important. After performing some action and then you say sorry, doesn't rectify anything because the demons are going to be born. You know, I tell my disciples very nicely, I tell them, please kindly do not utter bad words or say wrong things, because that is a heinous action. It is not sanctioned by the Vedic scriptures. They create demonic things in this world. So Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashap's birth is bound to happen. So here Diti is talking to her husband and telling him to kindly forgive her as well as ensure that her womb is not destroyed and Lord Shiva doesn't come near her. Let me offer my obeisance unto the angry Lord Shiva, who is simultaneously very ferocious, great demigod, and the fulfiller of all material desires. He is auspicious and forgiving, But his anger can immediately move him to chastise. Because this action was heinous and was performed at the time of Shiva, it should not have been done. He is a destroyer, and this is the reason why it is mentioned by her that just see to it that things don't go out of hand. He is a very angry God. Shiva is a very, very angry God. He can destroy this world because you remember he has a third eye as well. And that is the reason why we should not be performing actions which are wrong as far as he is concerned. Let him be pleased with us, since he is my brother-in-law, the husband of my sister Sati. He is also the worshipable Lord of all women. He is the personality of all opulences and can show mercy towards women who are excused even by the uncivilized hunters. This is kind of a blackmail. You will find that she is telling her husband, he is my brother-in-law. He is married to my sister, right? Who is her sister? Remember, she is a daughter of Daksha. And who is the daughter of Daksha? Sati is also the daughter of Daksha. So she is her closest sister. And so she uses this relationship to tell her husband that kindly ensure that my brother-in-law, my sister's husband, doesn't do any of these wrong actions and takes care of me. I mean, he doesn't destroy my womb. Now, these are basically actions which should be not performed, but she has already done that action. So she is putting all these, caveats in the picture and saying you have to do this. Now, the funny part over here is all the women in the world, they worship Shivji. Do you know this? Few women will worship Vishnu. Padmanabh Swami, Vishnu, or Sri Ranga. He is more about love and more about protection and taking care of the women is Shiva. So Shiva is always worshipped by women. So she says that he is a god who takes care of women, and he has got a fantastic opulence and a personality, and I'm sure as a woman he will take care of me and not do anything wrong. So we have come to the end of verse 36 for today. We are going to stop over here.